Wenbing Tiao Bian by Qing Dynasty's Wu Tang. Chapter 1, Original Disease Section, from the 13th to the 19th passages. 13. The section on piercing heat states, in cases of lung heat disease, the patient first experiences a sudden coldness and aversion to wind and cold. The tongue is yellow with a hot body. When the heat becomes intense, there is wheezing, pain radiating to the chest, back, and inability to take deep breaths. The headache is unbearable, and sweating occurs with chills. If the condition worsens, it can lead to severe wheezing and even death. Needle the hand Tai Yin and Yang Ming points, and bloodletting should result in blood flow like soybeans popping. When the lungs are affected by heat, aversion to wind and cold occurs because the lungs govern the body's qi and skin. If the lungs are diseased, the skin's defense mechanisms are compromised. A yellow coating on the tongue indicates that the lung qi is not transforming properly, leading to the accumulation of damp heat and the formation of yellow coating. Wheezing is a result of severe qi stagnation. The lungs struggle with heat results in pain radiating to the chest and back, as the lungs govern the chest and back, and when their qi stagnates, pain spreads there. The inability to take deep breaths is a sign of extreme qi stagnation. Unbearable headache and sweating with chills are manifestations of intense heat and cold interactions. The lungs' affinity for cold exacerbates this condition. 14. The section on piercing heat further states, in cases of kidney heat disease, there is initially lower back pain, sourness, bitterness, frequent thirst, and excessive drinking, accompanied by bodily heat. As the heat intensifies, there is neck pain with stiffness, coldness, and sourness. The soles of the feet feel hot, and the person becomes reticent. In more severe cases, the neck pain becomes pronounced and persistent. When the condition is very severe, profuse sweating occurs, and in cases of extreme qi stagnation, it can lead to death. Needle the foot Xiao Yin and Tai Yang points. When the kidneys are affected by heat, lower back pain is the initial symptom. The lower back corresponds to the kidneys, and the kidney meridian runs through the spine, meeting at the Du channel's Changqiang point. The kidney's meridian branches into the heel and connects with the Tai Yang meridian there. Sourness refers to the presence of heated bodily fluids. Thirst and frequent drinking occur due to the kidneys governing the body's fluids and preventing excessive dryness. Neck pain and stiffness emerge due to the upward movement of disease from the zong organs to the fu organs. Coldness and sourness coexisting indicate the extreme state of heat. The sensation of heat in the soles of the feet arises from the path of the kidney meridian from the small toe, where pathogenic factors accumulate. Becoming reticent is due to the interaction between the heart, which governs speech, and the kidneys. The description of persistent neck pain conveys the severity of the condition. 15. In cases of liver heat disease, the left cheek becomes red. In heart heat disease, the complexion reddens first. In spleen heat disease, the nose reddens first. In lung heat disease, the right cheek reddens first. In kidney heat disease, the area beneath the cheekbones reddens first. Even though the disease has not fully manifested, observing redness in these areas warrants treatment, which is termed treating before the disease fully develops. This passage describes the early signs of impending organ diseases, indicating that these areas become affected first, serving as a warning for early intervention to prevent the development of severe illness. 16. The heat discussion section includes, when a heat disease is cured, why are there residual symptoms? The emperor asks, and Qibo responds, in cases of residual symptoms, they arise from the intense heat and excessive consumption of food. In such instances, the disease has weakened but residual heat remains. The combination of thin vital qi and lingering heat leads to these residual symptoms. The emperor inquires about the treatment for residual symptoms, and Qibo advises to assess the condition's pattern and manifestations and harmonize opposing forces to achieve complete recovery. The emperor then asks about dietary restrictions when symptoms are alleviated but not fully cured. Qibo explains that if the disease has slightly improved and the patient consumes meat, the symptoms may relapse. Excessive eating also leads to residual symptoms. This passage provides insights into managing residual symptoms of heat diseases. 17. The needle technique discussion says, I have heard that when the 5 plagues arrive, they easily infect each other. Without considering the difference in the severity of the illnesses, if they appear similar and no treatment is administered, How can one avoid mutual transmission? Qi Bo responds, those not affected maintain a strong righteous qi internally, preventing the pathogenic factors from taking hold. This points out the method to avoid contagion. The passage further addresses avoiding the toxic qi of the plagues, which resemble discussions of blue qi and white qi from the ancient scholar Zhu Yu. The core of this advice, however, lies in the principle of maintaining strong righteous qi to prevent external pathogenic factors from affecting the body. 18. The Jade Tablet summary states, disease due to excessive warmth leads to death. In cases of disease caused by excessive warmth, when the body's essence and blood are profoundly deficient, there isn't enough yin to counterbalance the excessive warmth, resulting in death. 19. The normal human qi manifestation discussion says, when a person inhales, their pulse moves 3 times, when they exhale, their pulse moves 3 times. If restlessness accompanies this, and if the radial pulse is warm, it is termed warm disease. If the radial pulse is not warm but slippery, it is termed wind disease. If the pulse is tense, it is termed Bai syndrome. When a person's pulse moves 3 times during both inhalation and exhalation, this totals 6 or 7 pulses. Restlessness accompanies this, indicating an urgency. If the pulse at the wrist is warm, it signifies warm disease. Warm diseases tend to damage the fluids of the metal and water organs. The pulse at the wrist corresponds to the kidney, and its corresponding point belongs to the lung. In cases of warm disease, muscle warmth is felt at this point. If the pulse isn't warm but is also slippery, it indicates wind disease. Wind typically harms the yang aspects first. The wrist pulse corresponds to the yin aspect, thus it isn't warm. If the pulse is simultaneously rapid and tense, it indicates an excess of qi and a deficiency of blood, leading to Bai syndrome. End of chapter 1.